Welcome to Mad Markets. I didn't bring a tissue, I'm sorry. Are you okay? How are you feeling?
No,
Overall optimistic or negative?
No, well,
so what was that number? Could we reiterate? So expected
I was the one who was saying it was going to be a huge positive.
90,000,
Yeah.
and it came in at 18,000. It actually, Paul didn't even shave for us today. I see that you're rough around the edges.
No, you know, I mean, obviously I was projecting the numbers that we'd received earlier in the week, which were looking pretty good, and thinking this would be a good one. So now I'm kind of like back to where I was a few months ago, which is to say, well, the US economy just doesn't seem to be creating any jobs at all. All those jobs went to China. Everybody fired everybody that wasn't doing anything during the middle of the crisis, and now those jobs aren't coming back. I guess the question is this net long-term hugely negative for the US economy? Like Davy appears to be insinuating, low growth, low jobs.
But happy about BRICS and very bullish about
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think everybody agrees on that. But, you know, I'm not so negative about the US either. I know that, you know, we've got corporate earnings coming through next week, you know.
Alcoa kicking off, when we always know Alcoa comes up.
And I think those numbers are going to be pretty good. I mean, retailers have even been doing well in the US, so it's a little bit incongruous. But remember, when you talk about 9% unemployment in America, that means the other 91% do have jobs, right?
And that's not including the people that have given up.
Oh, well,
for a job.
that's their business.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to go. So Murdoch, it's quite fascinating, closing down some newspapers, if I'm not mistaken. Really just proving the movement to online.
Well, I think so. I mean, it's an interesting story because the News of the World, which is a 168-year-old publication in the UK, getting shut down this week because it has suffered from some sort of credibility crises because the journalists were tapping people's phones in order to get extra scandalous news to publish on the weekends. So they were kind of so relentlessly going after the truth that they totally broke the rules.
Do you know why I think that actually happens? I think because of the new social media platforms and the movement of information is happening at such a rapid pace that newspapers, I think, possibly battling to keep up. And it's a reality that information flow is happening far quicker, and newspapers and TV platforms need to keep up.
Yeah, and I mean, the News of the World specialized in breaking details of who Ryan Giggs was sleeping with, you know, what was going on in Ashley Cole and, you know, Cheryl Cole's marriage and so on. So where are we going to get that important news?
I don't even know who all those people are. I'm sorry.
But, I mean, the interesting thing about it is that people are saying Murdoch has taken this decision because he's recognized that morally the brand has been, you know, dragged down and so on. But others are saying that it's really just a cost-saving mechanism. Print is in trouble, subscriptions have been weak. Your point about people moving to the iPads and the Kindles. And what more plays to that is that the group has actually got the Daily Sun, which they reckon will start publishing on Sundays. So, you know, maybe it's just an opportunity to boot 250 journalists. Sis.
NASA.
Yeah, well, they're busy waiting. If you're watching these other channels, they're busy waiting for the last mission of the space shuttle to go up. But I mean, you know what's interesting about that program? When they launched it in the 1970s, they indicated it was going to change the world. They'd learn how to, you know, live outside of the Earth's gravity field, and then the humans would dominate the universe. Actually, like 30 years later, or 40 years later, apparently the program cost in aggregate about $200 billion US. $200 billion US. So far, not much science. The program,
I think we'll only dominate the universe when we run out of resources on planet Earth, I think.
Exactly. Like, who would move out of a comfortable environment like this to Mars unless you were totally forced to?
And there, I don't think they have ceilings for debt because there's no gravity, right? So how do you feel about the Earth's debt ceiling? You were like, no, it's going to happen tomorrow, it's all sorted.
Now I see John Boehner is like saying, no, you know, we don't have a deal. I don't know. I mean, the Americans have gone from euphoric to rather negative within a case of a couple of hours. But remember, the market itself was up like 7% in the last 10 days. Now it's down 1% today. So I'm ahead, right?
Are you ahead? I don't know.
I'm feeling good going into the weekend.
Oh, how do you feel about Naspers getting into Turkey?
I don't even hear about that story. Sounds fabulous. Turkey's a fabulous place.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Paul Theron. Have a great weekend.
You too.